Enrollment at the school has declined in the last few years, and we want to investigate the reasons why. First, we can search for students who aren't planning to return to the school next year. Let's ask the personal assistant. Our list includes 12th graders who aren't expected to return anyway. We can prompt the personal assistant to exclude these students. Now, let's consider attendance rates. First, we can ask the personal assistant to count how many days of school each student missed. To get a better sense of these numbers, we can ask the personal assistant to compare against students who are returning to the school. From the data, we see that students who disenroll from school are more likely to have elevated absence rates. What about other patterns? We can ask the personal assistant for a more comprehensive analysis. The personal assistant uncovered more patterns in the data. Students who disenroll have more tardies in the morning, more frequently than returning students. These students are also more likely to miss classes at the end of the day, after being sent home early. A heat map would be helpful here. Let's ask the personal assistant to make a visualization. Our attendance insights all point in the same direction. Parents are less likely to re-enroll their kids if the kids are trying to avoid school. Why are these students avoiding school? Practitioner encounter history could be a great source to discover the reasons why. Let's dig in using the personal assistant. The personal assistant found that students who disenroll are much more likely to have met with a counselor to discuss academic issues. These students also reported elevated rates of substance misuse. What about the clinic? In the clinic, students who disenroll are more likely to be dismissed before the end of the day. This is consistent with our earlier observation from the attendance data. Great work! We've identified some clear patterns in the data that point to a student disenrolling from school. Now we can use our knowledge to predict whether any current students are at risk to disenroll. The personal assistant searches through encounter histories and the attendance record again, looking for students who fit the patterns we identified. The personal assistant compiles a list of students who meet any of the attendance or encounter criteria. The list is long, and we want to know which students we should prioritize for outreach. The personal assistant narrows our results to a short list of students at risk for disenrollment from the school. Now we know which families may be disengaged and where we should focus our efforts. We've learned a lot about the reasons why students may disenroll and found students who are at risk. How can we mitigate this risk moving forward? Let's see what the personal assistant thinks. The personal assistant made some specific recommendations to identify emerging attendance and dismissal patterns early. It also suggested ways to better support students experiencing academic challenges or substance misuse. Finally, we should ask the personal assistant to summarize everything we've learned. Let's ask the personal assistant to produce a comprehensive report. and presentation slides covering our investigations, analysis, and recommendations. This includes an executive summary and useful visualizations ready to share with the board.